globalization is here, but we have a major issue with globalization in that it's going to affect anime in the worst ways possible. There's some good to globalization. I think we talked about that like maybe 2 weeks ago or maybe last week. There's some good to the globalization. All right. We're going to get more anime. All right. Some of these artists are going to get paid. You know, some of these anime studios will take risks with more anime. But then we're going to get stuff like this. So Netflix is placing less emphasis on full exclusivity when it comes to anime as it shifts towards flexible partnership driven approach by or in Japan. So it sounds like Netflix is like, okay, you know, we don't really care about the exclusivity. Maybe these guys can share it out there, blah, 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 blah. But Netflix, what Netflix wants to do, and this is the danger, Netflix wants to control the market. They want to control anime. It's not so much that they care about who's exclusive. The fact is that they want to make sure that they have their finger on the scale to tell the anime studios which way they need to move. That's what it is. And I'm going to show you guys that in a couple of posts that Anime Updates had put out there. All right. So this is the first one. Netflix content VP Kazukataka Sakamoto says some Netflix anime fail to connect with audiences due to too much creative freedom, emphasizing the need for stronger creative alignment between studios and Netflix. Just that statement right there is problematic. That statement right there is super problematic. It failed to connect with audiences due to too much creative freedom. We've given these guys so much creative freedom that they're not connecting with the audiences. And I'm like, wait, whoa. Too much creative freedom? There's never too much creative freedom. Give the creators all the creative freedom. Look, Budget Cat, you saying this, right? Oh, Japanese creators will never yield to this bullshit because they don't consider the West their main audience anyway. Oh, that's right now.
Yeah.
But as this goes global, and Netflix, and remember, they just made a major deal with MAPPA Studios. So keep that in mind. When thinking about the future of anime, it becomes difficult to move forward unless both sides' visions and process align at the creative level. There are many cases where a studio completes a work and says, it's finished. Please release it, only for it to not align with the audience needs. Wait, what's the audience needs?
See, that sign right, that sentence right there is the biggest red flag I'll ever need to see on this.
Yeah, because again, everything is not for everybody. All right. We got through talking about all the different anime that we watch. What aligns with me may not align with Stacy, may not align with Name or any of you guys out there. It doesn't matter. All right. It's subjective. It's for individual people. Some people will love it. Some people will hate it. But what Netflix has in mind with this VP of content for Netflix, all right, what this guy cares about is, hey, I need everybody watching. I need everybody watching. Oh, and then when he says, oh, well, this did not align with audience needs, basically what I'm hearing out of this is like, hey, not enough people are watching this anime. It didn't align with audience's needs, which means it didn't align with what Netflix is about. Netflix is about pushing content. They don't care if it. They just want you to watch it. They care about the content. They don't care about. Hey, you see what I'm saying, Name? Because I know
it's a number. It's like we've been saying. This is the danger of globalization. It's a numbers game to like these like executives. They only see numbers. They only see profits. They don't see like art, like you said. And for better or for worse, like art is gonna fail. Like we could say all we want about like Cowboy Bebop, whatever, but I just think that letting them put that vision out there, like someone might have liked it. I see some people defending that live action, and it's like I can disagree with them, but it's like you saw some value in it. It's like okay, that's part of the human experience. It's like
right.
We see things differently, and I think they're allowed to fail on their own, of course, but they're probably not gonna like factor that in as like one of their faults. Like it just feels like he's throwing like these studios under the bus. Like it wasn't our fault. It was their fault. We gave them too much creative freedom.
For example, a studio might aim to create something more Western in style, but in reality, works that fully embrace local elements often resonate more strongly on a global scale. And he's right. We want Japanese anime. We're not interested in Western anime. Nobody wants that. Give us Japanese anime or go away. He says, at the same time, those creative philosophies are important to each studio. If Netflix were to impose its own ideas unilaterally, it would be difficult to produce strong original works. That is why we believe collaboration must extend to how projects are selected. how they are created, and how they can expand as IP while ensuring the studio benefits properly. Are y'all listening to this? This is what they care about, how they can expand as IP. They're not interested in making art. They're interested in making IP. They're interested in making something they can sell, and they can add t-shirts and plushies and video games and action figures. And that's what Netflix cares about. They don't care about, hey, I'm just making a piece of art. I just want this to be really good. I just want this to be a story. I have a story that's been burning into my heart. I want to tell that. That's not what Netflix is interested in. How they can expand as IP, because that's ultimately what Netflix is interested in. They're interested in this as IP, intellectual property. And this is the problem with globalization. They're looking at which one of these, hey, before we push this anime out there, which one of these joints is going to be the best bang for our buck. And so we'll start to lose like really interesting anime that they think, like I often wonder, would Netflix have greenlit a Death Note? Would they have greenlit Death Note? The original anime Death Note. Would they have greenlit that?
No.
You know, I don't think they would either.
Maybe they would have, but they wouldn't have given it the push that, like, you know, some of these bigger animes have gone. Like, there's, like you said, there's so much content on these like streaming platforms that doesn't get pushed because like they're too busy pushing what already works. You think about even on Crunchyroll, how many is like 1,300, right? DA, like you talked about your video, like how many of those anime like people are never gonna watch in their lives because it's not on the front page.
Yep. They would look at shonen and that's it. They would just look at the shonen genre, and then every once in a while they would have piggybacked on something else, but they would have been focused on shonen anime. I guarantee they would have been looking at shonen because that's what's the poppin' hot anime. That's what sells. And so something like Death Note probably never would have entered into their vocabulary. They would have been like, oh man, action shonen, battle shonen, and that's it. You know? God. And so that's my fear, is that when they're talking about how can we expand this as IP, how can we sell Light Yagami? How do we sell this guy? I don't know how to sell this guy. You know, maybe maybe the characters, Ryuk, you know, maybe we could sell a Ryuk character, but I mean, we can't sell the rest of this, you know, we can't sell L. So they wouldn't even bother with it. This is what's going to happen. Netflix is really going to start being, in my opinion, unfortunately, because they're the biggest streaming service, they're going to have the most power in anime probably in the next 5 to 10 years. They're going to have a ton of power. They're already getting an exclusive deal with MAPPA, one of the biggest studios out there. They got this exclusive deal. This to me, when I saw this news, all right, when I saw this news right here, I was like, oh my God, man, we are in trouble.
I think the only way that they're going to let go is if they actually see too much failure. There is a way to basically make it work, but they would have to basically say, okay, if we have more fails than hits, then we will have no choice but to break this deal.
Tokariki said, in the past, there was less of this connection, and now you are aiming to strengthen it through this partnership. And then they say, yeah, that's been one of the most difficult areas for us in the past. When working on Netflix original anime, many projects leaned heavily into creative freedom. It's like, yeah, man, creators, do what you want to do, man. It's creative freedom right here. All right, this is what we care about. While it's wonderful for creators to express what they've always wanted to do, this sometimes led to a disconnect with audience. Well, again, everything ain't for everybody. Not every single anime is going to find this giant audience. Sometimes an anime is only going to be for a few people, and that's fine.
Bro, one man's trash is another man's treasure, bro. DA don't like vigilantes. It's one of my favorite animes of all time.
Stop it. Name always try to do that.
People have like different like experiences, like, you know, watching this stuff. You can't like and you know, it's in the next sentence. They're saying they're trying to get as many people as possible, and that's not the goal. Because if you try to make something for everyone, you make it for no one.
Yeah, look, what matters most is that as many people as possible genuinely enjoy a work. And it's like they're trying to engineer the audience. They're focused solely on popularity. It's not about the artistic nature of it. It's not about the work. It's not about, hey, this anime, this may only get like a 1%, you know, of the market. This may only get 2% of the market. This may only get 5% of the anime market. We might not, but guess what? Sometimes what happens, you know what's funny, is that sometimes an anime don't really resonate right now, or a manga, or any artwork for that matter. It doesn't resonate right now. It resonates 10 years from now, 20 years from now. People pick it up and they see the value of it because it's speaking to them. You got to let the creators create, and you can't try to put handcuffs on them, because what's going to end up happening is these creators that they're talking about right here, they're just going to be like, well, shit, I'm just going to make the shit that makes money. I'm just going to make the anime that they're buying. If they buying shonen, I'm making shonen.
You know, speaking of creators really quick, like sometimes I'll watch like or read interviews and like they'll bring up like a movie or like a show that they watched that's like super obscure that like no one's heard of, and they said like, oh bro, I really love that. That was my like entry, and like that's why I decided to start acting or like directing or like, and it's like, you know, if they had that, it's like you said, Jay, they had that super specific like love. Like they're one of few, but like it's something that drove them to like, you know, pursue a passion. And like if you only like tailor it to like the masses, you're probably gonna get less of that. Like there's value.
You're gonna get watered down, generic. Yeah, hey, everything's a battle shonen, and it's like, look, I love battle shonen just like the next guy, but I don't want everything to be battle shonen. Hey man, can we get something different? Can we get something new? This is what Netflix is going to end up doing. They're not saying it. They're not saying it outright. But again, when you're talking about, oh, you know, we need to make sure that this thing is available as many people as can genuinely enjoy work. We got to get as many people as possible. And what do most people like? Oh, they like Dragon Ball. You know, oh, they like, you know, My Hero Academia. Oh, they like, you know, JJK. Oh, they like Demon Slayer. Okay, everything's going to be that, because they're only interested in the most popular, something that's really going to sell to the masses. This is the problem with global anime. And we've seen this with Hollywood, because Hollywood is on the remake, reboot, sequel, prequel, spinoff campaign, and they don't make original things anymore. Hollywood has already shown you this is a dead end street. They've already shown this to you, because what's happening? All the people that used to rock with Hollywood are now what? Oh, we're watching anime because anime is different. Because anime seems like it's about creativity.
Because anime makes you actually look at things and go, hey, what's the motivation? Why does this speak to me? Why is this just reaching out and saying, hey, get invested in the story? When you do that, you make money.